welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera Eyeshadow palette. If you do want to see a review and a demo, please keep watching. Here's what the outer packaging does look like. It says Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera. It does have some blue and white stripes to it, which is super cute for summertime. And then on the back you do have a little picture of what the inside looks like, some of the ingredients. When you open up the packaging, here is what the actual eyeshadow palette looks like. It does have different packaging than their normal velvet packaging. This one is the Norvina palette. I love this material because I don't think it'll get dirty as much. So let's open the inside. Let's see what this looks like. It does come with a really good quality mirror. I love when they include a brush with every palette. I do want to show you guys how high quality this mirror is. It is stunning. Let's get into the swatches. The first shade here is called Sales. Ooh, that's actually very creamy. A stark white shade. So here's the first eyeshadow in Sales. This is a matte white shadow. The second shade in the eyeshadow palette is called Yacht. Feels very creamy in the pan. Ooh, look how pretty. We have the shade in Yacht, Duochrome Mauve Taupe with a violet shift to it. The next shade is called Seashells, and this is an aqua metallic. Oh my goodness. This shade was extremely creamy in the pan, and this shade is a metallic aquamarine. Look how it just pops. This is a gorgeous shadow. I think I want to play with this shade. Maybe all over the lid. I'm not sure what I want to do, but since I'm wearing a white t-shirt, I think this would definitely pop. The next shadow here is called Palermo. This is like an Italian Sicily name. It is super cute. Very buttery in the pan, and this is a metallic jewel pink shadow. Look at that pigment. And here we have that metallic jewel pink shadow. Wow, that's actually really pretty as well. The next shade is called Seaside. Very creamy in the pan. That's beautiful. And here we have the shade in Seaside. This shade is a duochrome silver shade. It does have a slight shift of blue. The next shade is called Inheritance. This shade in Inheritance is a true gold shade. Last shade in the top row is called Mediterranean. This shade is a metallic sky blue. Look at that, how pretty. Now we're gonna move on to the matte shades on the bottom row. The first shade is called Estate. This is wow, that's actually really creamy. This is a matte peachy shade. I would describe this shade as more of a peachy pinky shade. The next shade is called Cabana, and this is more like a birch mustardy shadow. Here's the shade in Cabana. Really nice. Then we have the shade in Coastline, another peachy shadow. Ooh, very peachy. I love it. And we have the shade in Bahamas. This shade is a hot candy pink shadow. Very cute. Wow, look how bright that is. Here we have the shade in Bahamas. That is super bright and pigmented. I definitely think Bahamas, this metallic shade, would look gorgeous. The next shade is in Monte Carlo. This is another cool tone pink shadow. The shade in Monte Carlo is a cool mid-tone pink eyeshadow. Then we have this beautiful, vibrant purple shadow. It's in the shade Canes. Wow, it's super creamy. Look at that. I'm running out of swatch room, but wow, that is so pigmented. The last shadow in the palette is called Palm. This is a dark chocolate brown shadow. We all gotta have that in our eyeshadow palettes. Let's see if I have room here on the bottom. Yes. Oh wow, that's actually very pretty. Here we have all 14 shades swatched on the back of my hand. Now we're going to create a look using this eyeshadow palette. I am going to be using the brush that did come in the eyeshadow palette. I love this dual-ended brush. You have a crease buffing brush, and then you do have a flat side. This would be great to pack on shadows. These bristles feel so soft. The first shade that I am going to be grabbing is this shade in Estate. I'm going to be taking the fluffy side of the brush, taking a little bit, and look how much pigment comes out. A little bit goes a long way. I'm just going to tap off the excess because I don't want it to become a powdery mass. So I do have a little bit on my brush. I'm going to be buffing that all over the crease. I know this shadow in Estate is not the best transition shade for my skin complexion because I do want to see how these eyeshadows do blend together. As you guys know, the two things that I am looking for is pigmentation, which we saw in the swatches, but sometimes when you do swatch something on your hand, it's not the same as when you apply it on your eyelids. And this time I'm not using a primer, an eyeshadow primer. I just want to see how these shades do blend together, how they build together. The next shade I am going to be picking up is this shade in Coastline, but I'm going to be taking the flat end. I'm just going to be taking that shade in Coastline and packing that all over the lid. I can already see that the shade in Estate looks a little bit ashy on my eyelids, so I won't be using that shadow anymore. But I do like the shade in Coastline. I am loving this shade in Coastline. It looks really good. I did want to see what this shade in Cabana looks like. I'm that where we apply the shade in Estate, just to kind of mute that ashiness. Now we're going to play with the metallic shadows. I did say that I wanted to play with this metallic blue shade. I'm just going to be using my finger. Just have the shade in Seashells on my finger, and we're going to pack that all over the lid. Wow, that's actually really, really pretty. I did not even wet my finger. Imagine the shade in Seashells wet. I want to try that. I do have my trusty packer brush. I just sprayed my brush with some Fix Plus, and here we have it on the brush, and I just want to see what it looks like. I actually prefer this shadow in Seashells applied with a brush instead of using my finger, because I do have a little bit of fallout here. We're going to fix that later. I'm just going to finish this look, and I'm going to be doing the other eye. Using that same Anastasia brush, I'm going to go back in using the shade Coastline to find the crease. I do like how these shades do blend very well together. I do want to tap into this gold shade in Inheritance, swatched really nicely. It was really intense. Just going to take a little bit on my finger and just pop that in the center. I'm going to be using this little brush. I really thought it would be as intense, but I don't know, I'm not liking this gold shadow. I'm trying to do like a colorful look for you guys all the time. Neutral, warm tone, and I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. I'm not really feeling the gold in the center. I'm just going to take a little makeup remover wipe. I'm just going to remove the gold shadow. I'm not liking this look so far. I really wasn't expecting the shade in Seashells to be like this. I wanted it to be really pretty, like how it is on the back of my hand. I'm going to remove this eye makeup. I'm going to start all over. I removed my eyeshadow and we're starting from square one. I did like how the shade Coastline did look on my lids, so we're just going to grab that shade on the same double-ended brush. Just grabbing the fluffy side, reblending that shade all over the lid. I feel like I do have to play with this palette a little bit more just to kind of get my feel for it. I don't like the shade in Seashells or the shade in Inheritance. These two shades were a little bit crumbly on the lid. Using the brush, I didn't like that way either. I feel like I should do a basic look, but I do want to play with this bright, vibrant shade in Bahamas. I'm going to be taking a fluffy crease brush, just grabbing this shadow, and I'm just going to be applying that to the lid. I like that we added that base shadow in Coastline. That way it's not too intense. And I'm just going to be grabbing this metallic pink shadow. We're going to be pressing that on our lid. I'm just going to be taking a tiny brush, placing that shadow in the inner corner. I'm going to be grabbing another clean, fluffy brush. I do want to play with this purple shadow. I just tapped once into it and look how pigmented this is. Applying that on my outer V. I could have done without the purple. I'm going to be adding some mascara and I'll be right back. Mascara is added. I used the one from NYX. This is the Worth the Hype mascara. For lips, I'm going to be applying the shade in Amazonian by Maybelline. Here's a close-up of what the final look does look like. Now let's talk about my final thoughts on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera Eyeshadow Palette. For me, I love how all the shades did swatch on the back of my hand. For practical use, I don't think I'll be gravitating towards this eyeshadow palette. I won't be using any of these metallic shadows. Maybe the matte shades I would probably use. Overall, I really do love these matte shades here. Coastline is one of my favorites. I don't like the shade in Estate. It was a little bit ashy. Bahamas I liked. Canes I really do like as well. Palm I didn't get a chance to use, but I still have to play around with these shadows a bit. I did not like the shade in Seashells dry, but when I did wet my brush, I did really like it. I love this pink metallic shadow that I have currently on my lids. It is gorgeous. I don't like the shade in Inheritance. It does crumble. I still have to play with the shade in Seaside and Mediterranean. In sales, I don't think I'll ever reach for this shadow. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.